This is a scarifying job that we did last year. I never had a chance to upload it last year, so I decided I would get around to it this year and put the footage up for you. Now with this scarifying job, unfortunately we never actually had a chance to cut the grass before we started scarifying. Normally what I'd like to do is at least have one cut on the lawn before we start scarifying. This hadn't had a cut yet, and the customer was quite keen for us to get the scarifying done as soon as we could, so unfortunately we had to scarify it before we cut it. I normally like to cut the lawn first, just so that you can remove some of the grass, just some of the bulk out of the lawn, and it just saves on a little bit of tidying up, but not a massive deal. I mean, on this day it was actually pretty dry, so we managed to scarify no trouble. So for this job in particular, we've just been asked to run over the worst bits. We aren't going to every corner of the garden. The customer wanted us just to brighten up the worst parts of the garden, you know, the bigger areas, sort of obviously the middle, and there's a few bits up the side that we have done as well, but we haven't gone over every inch of this lawn. It's just to improve it a little bit. In fact, this property is now on the market, and probably by the time I put this video up it will be sold. So the customers aren't really overly fussed about, you know, they haven't had any treatments on the lawn or anything like that. They do just want a basic run over with the scarifier, just to improve the majority of the lawn. Now this lawn is made up mostly of moss, so if we were to scarify it really hard, it would just make a total mess. There wouldn't be anything left, wouldn't be any grass left or anything like that. So as I said before, we are just running over it a few times. The depth of the blades is sort of probably a middle depth. It's just sort of digging into the soil a little bit. So it isn't digging right down deep into the roots. It is just going over the top of it, removing all the moss as best we can off of the top. So for this job I'm using my Hater Scarifier. I've had it for quite a few years now, and it is doing me a proud job. It's one of those tools that we really only get out in the spring and in the autumn occasionally, so it's not something that's being used every day of the week. I have a few jobs that I use it on. My dad also has a few jobs that he uses it on. It does come with a bag, but in all honesty I've never used the bag. It doesn't throw it to the back of the bag like a lawnmower does. It basically fills it instantly, and I just find it so much easier just to let it drop on the ground and then clear it all up afterwards. So the bag is something nice to have it, you know, just in case, but I've never ever used it. I have done a few scarifying videos before, and I always get a few questions, so I will try and answer those for you now. The reason we scarify lawn is to remove things like moss from a lawn. You want to remove the moss from the lawn, because the less moss you have on a lawn, the more grass you can have on the lawn. And removing the moss obviously lets more air, lets more water, lets more light get to the grass you've got, and will hopefully improve it. Now, scarifying can be one of those jobs, if you are doing it for a new customer who you haven't worked for before, that you are going to have to warn your customer that this is going to make a mess. You know, it's not like grass cutting. You don't stand back afterwards and think, oh, my lawn looks lovely. It is going to be a work in progress. You are going to wreck it to start with. As you can see here, we aren't going over at mad. You know, as I said before, we're on like a half setting here. Sort of half the way down with the blades, and it is still making, you know, a lot of mess. And this is only a single pass. A few areas we do go over double, but as I say, the customer's really only paying us to just give it the once over. Another comment I quite often get on these sort of videos is the tidying up afterwards. Now, I would love to run over all of this with a lawnmower, picking up all the waste, no problem. Just doesn't happen. Any of you guys out there that have done it before, you'll know if you try and run over this with a lawnmower, just gets clogged instantly, makes a mess of it. So I find on a nice dry day like this, it's just as easy just to wander around with a leaf blower, blowing it into heaps, and then getting those heaps into a big bag and getting it out. And you'll be finding the moss for weeks and weeks to come. This is a place where we mow quite regularly. This is a once a fortnight mowing job for us, and we'll be finding the moss. We'll be coming out in the mower for weeks and weeks to come. Now, this Hater Scarifier that I'm using isn't a self-propelled thing. It is one of those tools you do have to push yourself. It does tend to pull itself along a little bit. If anything, you want to sort of try and pull back on it a little bit. Try and keep it slow and steady. You don't want to be running over this very fast. You want to let the blades do their job as the blades are spinning round. It's like, I have heard the term power rake before, this sort of thing. So as the blades are spinning around very, very fast, you want to just let them do their job. You know, just go steady over it. The Scarifier will scarify, and I just find if you're running over it pretty quick, you'll be missing bits and pieces. The Scarify won't be pulling up the moss like it should be. I did get a few comments in the last Scarifying video that I did to complain about me being too fast. I hate to tell you that footage was sped up about 3 or 4 times, so that was why I looked like I was going so fast. Ideally, if this was a job that we were doing where we were asked to improve the lawn as best we can, and money wasn't an option, we would probably scarify it a little bit deeper than we have here. We would probably go over it a few more times, and then we would probably give it a good weed and a feed. This lawn in particular could really do with a bit of top dressing as well, which we would sort of scatter about, and probably a seed. Now, as I said before, we're not being paid for that on this job. This is just a basic tart up, really. But if I had my way, I would love to give this a bit of treatment, you know, a bit of moss killer, that sort of thing, just to beat back the moss a little bit more. That would be brilliant on this job. So that is the scarifying done. All there is left for us to do now is plenty of tidying up. We've got all the leaf blowers on the go. Get it into piles, get it into bags, and get off to the next job. Thank you for watching, guys. Take care, be good, and we'll see you next time.